into the session today?
Because she's been not working for several months now. And I understand that, there may be some pain, but that just comes with the territory after you've had a wreck. But, it's time for her to go back to work. And she doesn't act like she wants to.
So, what is the communication like at home? Do you guys talk at all? Like, how would you rate your problem solving on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being not good and 10 being excellent?
Problem solving as in like when conflicts arise between us, I would probably say that it's like a 1, but at the time I make the best decision that I feel like I can make for the situation. Just trying not to exacerbate, whatever is going on, whatever she has a problem with at the time, or whatever she's, complaining about or fussing about. I just walk away or shut down. And then it makes her upset because then she thinks that me shutting down is, like some indication or some big clue that I don't, proof that I really don't care, that I'm really not trying. But I understand I live in her house and I appreciate her generosity. I get it, but I'm not a child. And sometimes I can't tell the difference between when she's talking to her kids and when she's talking to me. And so when it comes to the communication in the home, that's just where we are. And she doesn't think that depression is real. She doesn't think that counseling is necessary. And so, yes, it's been several months that I've been off from work, and I get the little bit of disability income. And she just feels like, because I am physically a little bit more capable of taking on certain tasks, she feels like I should just be good to just go to work. The doctor doesn't want me to return to work yet, and would like for me, because I do have the short-term disability, and at this point, as much as it falls short of having excess, I am capable of having my bare minimum for the bills that I have. And so what the doctor wants is for me to run out that short-term disability and take some time for mental clarity and just to focus on, kind of getting back on track mentally, as well as I am healing physically, because I do have some trauma or some PTSD from the accident, and it results in depression. And then she, like I said, doesn't think that depression is real, so then that becomes an argument that I just need to get off the couch and just stop feeling sorry for myself, because the world doesn't feel sorry for me and no one has to. And yeah.
Demetria, got basically the same context question, problem solving. Would you say you're out of 1, 10, somewhere in the middle of that continuum? Where would you rate yourself? As far as when problems arise with you guys at home, where would you put yourself?
I would say in the middle.
Okay. So listening to April and her take on how when you guys do have a conflict, what transpires, would you say that's an accurate depiction of when you guys have an issue?
That's why it can't be resolved, because somebody's always running out of the room because they mad. Or impressed.
See, that is, but it's tones like that. Oh, you're depressed. Oh, let me take it. You're too depressed to talk. Oh, I guess you're too depressed to have an adult conversation. Antagonistic comments like that. who wants to talk to somebody like that?
Have you guys ever, in your family, I know in the questionnaire you said that there were no issues of like depression or anxiety or things that y'all were aware of. But just from your perspective, in your situation, can you think of any family members that you may have noticed that may have had similar symptoms to what you're experiencing right now?
I feel like the way we grew up, just speaking culturally, in the African American community, depression is not something that's widely talked about. It's not something that is widely recognized, because if you're sad, oh well, get over it, because you gotta work, you gotta pay the bills, you gotta take care of the kids. Like, life isn't easy for anybody, so it's like you just, you're supposed to just get over it. I feel like we were taught that, and it's possibly because others felt the way we felt, but knew that it would not be culturally acceptable for them to say, hey, I'm not trying to say, look at me, but I'm just letting you know, like, I have something going on with me and I need help. And to her, it's like asking for help is the sign of weakness, and you can't be weak, and we have to just work and get over it. And so if I say, well, it's not that easy, then I'm just being sensitive or dramatic, or, So, I mean, looking back, I can't say that there were any family members who had symptoms like mine or who showed their sadness. I can say that I suspect a couple, who had certain issues, but it was almost like if you walk in the room and they were crying, they would hear them, wipe the tears away. Or if they were, sad, it was almost like that's just the way life was. Like, you just have to get used to like being this hard thing you just work through, and then it's kind of like, what's the point?
Okay, so that does offer some insight. How you guys' family viewed mental illness, I guess, or dysfunction, because they are real. Mental illness is real. Depression is a real thing, and it can be debilitating depending on the severity. But we're hopefully going to turn that around for you and get you back on a functioning level. Because that could be part of what's keeping you in the state, that you're in right now. It all kind of works together. Now, Demetria, you're the only one working in the home right now, right? So you're basically support for all of everyone, her and your kids, right?
Yes.
Okay. How much stress are you experiencing at work? Like, is it a lot of stress at your job?
All day, every day.
Do you have any hobbies or activities that you engage in that kind of release some of that?
No, because I have to take care of everybody. I mean, if you won't get up off the couch and cook, then, then somebody's got to come home and cook, or at least go get some food, bring it home. Then I got to run these kids around to where they're going, so no.
All right. Well, you guys, I know we're going to work this out, okay? That's our whole focus. We get you guys back to a healthy relationship. Because I can feel the tension and I can see it between both of you. And certainly being that, your sisters, we want y'all to have a great relationship, and with the kids being there, we don't want the home environment to be stressful and tension filled and, adversely affect them. So, one of the things I do want you guys to do before we meet again is just make a list of most important things to you. Priorities, I guess you could say. What do you feel are the top 5 things that are most important in life? And let's just see how each list compares or contrasts with each other. Okay? So, did you have any questions or any other issues that we may want to maybe just tap into before we close out the session today?
I guess just, I don't know. Have you had families like ours? Is there any, am I wasting my time? Is she wasting her time? Is this even worth coming to? Because she already doesn't really want to be here, and so it's almost like I'm adding to a fight if we're in counseling and she's already against it. She already doesn't think there's a point in it, and then we go home. Not only am I going to have to hear about other things, but I'm going to have to hear about this too. So
No, well, it's understandable. There's resistance when it comes to counseling. And especially being that her perspective is counseling is not necessary, I would understand why she's a little resistant to the whole process. But as far as seeing families like yours, I mean, there's all types of families and issues that families experience. This is not the worst that, that families have experienced. You know, you have little conflict, but it can be resolved. The way Demetria feels, there's a root cause to it. The way you feel, there's a root cause to it. And that's what we do here in therapy. We get to the root cause of why each of you feel the way you do and try to find a happy medium for you guys to reach a resolution. I'm not saying you're going to agree on everything, but we can agree to disagree, or we can find some middle ground so that we're better able to solve the conflicts when they occur, not walking out of the room and avoiding the situation by confronting it and just talking it out. So that's what we're hoping to do. Okay?
Maybe she might need medication or something, because I know people that function with it just fine.
Well,
They got some medicine in their system.
if that comes to it, we can certainly, find a referral. If you need medication, we can, set you up with a psychiatrist if needed. But let's try to get to the root cause of the issues first, because that could be what is, enabling the depression, is the issues y'all are experiencing. Okay?
I'm sure time will tell us
Okay.
as we come to these sessions that I don't want to be in.
Yes, and I do appreciate you coming. But let's set up our next appointment for next week. Next Friday, and it's the same time, good for both of you.
It sounds like a good time, I guess.
Okay.
I can't think of anything.
All right, well, if anything changes, just give me a call. If you need to reschedule, if the time doesn't work, and we can get you set up, okay? All right, but thank you guys for coming in today, and looking forward to seeing you next week. Thank you.